My name's Elizabeth Parisi. On behalf of SKGA Incorporated, I welcome you to the third episode of 2021's SCAFF 7 Colours Arts and Film Festival. We hope you enjoyed the last two episodes, where we screened films in multiple genres and interviewed the Road to Boston team and other legendary veterans of the Victorian film industry in a diverse cross-cultural setting. In this episode of the 2021 SCAFF Festival, we'll screen films and present film panels and screenings of stories on films in domestic and family violence. Victorian filmmakers will discuss domestic and family violence, from script writing and production to release, with the aim of encouraging more films from the community on this very delicate subject.
সুন্দরী গো দোহাই দোহাই মান করো না, আজ নিশীথে কাছে থাকো না, বলো না। সুন্দরী গো দোহাই দোহাই মান করো না। বাবা
you to stay inside of High Rock at all times.
কি করছিস?
এত দেরি হলো যে তোমার?
আরে মানতেন না, জানো না কর্পোরেট হাউস ভাই এমনি মুখ দেখে পয়সা দেবে ওসব। তুমি এটা কি হচ্ছে? এখন রান্না করছো তুমি এত লেটে?
আজকে রাশকার কারাটে কম্পিটিশন ছিল, তাই দেরি হয়ে গেছে। সরি।
রাধিকা ঘরে রেখে দে। চা রাধিকা ক্যারাটে কম্পিটিশন তুমি আমাকে একবার বলবে না?
তোমাকে বলেছিলাম, তোমাকে ফোন করেছিলাম, তোমাকে টেক্সট মেসেজ রেখেছিলাম, কোনোটারই কোনো রিপ্লাই পাইনি।
শোনো, আমি না প্রত্যেকটা ভয়েস মেল চেক করি, প্রত্যেকটা টেক্সটের উত্তর দিই, এটা আমার একটা বদনামও আছে, ফালতু বলে লাভ নেই। যাই হোক, সরকার তো কি হলো, রেজাল্ট কি হলো?
ও জিতেছে।
বাহ, কিছু পেয়েছে?
হ্যাঁ, ফার্স্ট প্রাইজ।
আরে দ্যাটস গুড। আমার মেয়ে আফটার অল। এনিওয়ে,
শোনো বলছি কি, একটু ডিনারটা যদি বাইরে থেকে অর্ডার দেওয়া খুব ভালো হয়, শরীরটা ভালো নেই।
এখন ডিনার অর্ডার দেবো? মানে এখন ডিনার অর্ডার দেবো, সেই ডিনার আসবে, সেই ডিনার এলে তবে সেই ডিনার খাওয়া হবে। কটা বাজছে?
তুমি জানো না কেন বলছি?
কেন বলছি সেই একই কেন, আর কি বলবো আর বলো, মাঝে মাঝে ভুলেও যাই কেন বলছো। তো যাও, আর এসব করে লাভ তো নেই, গিয়ে রেস্ট নাও, যাও রেস্ট নাও। আমি অর্ডার দিচ্ছি খাওয়া, তোমার করতে হবে না কিছু। সারাটা দিন বাড়ি থাকো, সারাদিনে এত সময় পেলে না একবার কি বলবো, সারা ফালতু ঝামেলা হবে। আমি অর্ডার দিচ্ছি খাবো, তুমি যাও, শুতে যাও, রেস্ট নাও, রেস্ট।
can't believe I got this medal.
ফোনটা দেখা লাগেনি।
কি গো, তুমি বাড়ি ফিরে এসে ভর সন্ধ্যাবেলায় মদ নিয়ে বসলে?
কি হয়েছে? কি কথা ফুটেছে না মুখে? তোর বাপের পয়সা মাল খাচ্ছি? চল 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 আগে বাড়। কি হলো বলো না? চলো যাও। দাঁড়িয়ে হলে কেন? যাও এখান থেকে। এই তো যেতে বলছি আমি।
এভাবে তেড়ে এসছো কেন আমার দিকে? কি ভুল বলেছি আমি তোমাকে? কতটুকু সময় পায় ওরা, কতটুকু সময় পাই আমি তোমার কাছ থেকে?
আচ্ছা সময় চাই? এই সময় চাই? সময়? হ্যাঁ সময় দেবো? চল চল সময় দিচ্ছি চল।
কি পাগল হয়ে গেছে কমল? তুমি কি জানো না আমি প্রেগনেন্ট?
প্রেগনেন্ট? প্রেগনেন্ট দেখাচ্ছিস তুই? ওই তো তোর মতো একটা কাল নিমি হবে, একটা কাল নিমি হবে তোর মতো। প্রেগনেন্ট? এই লাঠিটা কই রে? লাঠিটা Open the door.
Go away, Daddy.
Open the door, Ashika.
Go away, Daddy.
Ashika খুব খারাপ হয়ে যাবে কিন্তু আমি দরজা ভেঙে খুঁজছি কিন্তু বলেছি আমি। দরজা খোল। Ashika! তুই এখানে কি করছিস? What are you doing here?
Go away, Daddy.
What go away, Daddy? What are you doing here?
Go away, Daddy.
Ashika!
Go away, Daddy. Go away, Daddy. Go away, Daddy. Don't hit Mommy.
Hit mommy with this.
Do not hit Mommy.
Do not hit mommy. Do not hit mommy. Talk mommy sometime.
Do not cry. Do not cry. I will always stay with you and be with you.
Yes, Mom. We'll fight it out together.
Promise.
Yes, promise. Promise, Ashika.
everybody. Welcome to the third episode of SCAFF 2021 Seven Colors Australian Film Festival. I'm your host, Tanya J, and we'll be focusing on the cinema topic, family and domestic violence. We are with a wonderful panel, and I will be introducing them a little bit later, but we'll be focusing on the film EK BINDU SINDHU, and with the producer, actor, and director, Siddharth Banerjee. How are you?
I am fantastic. Thank you very much for having me here. It's absolutely pleasure.
You're welcome. I will talk to you about this film, which was screened some time ago, but I think it's very relevant even today.
Yep.
And would you like to tell us more about the film?
It is less than a year old, so it's pretty fresh in that way. I think the whole purpose of the film for me was I used to be involved more in fictional films. This also is a bit of a fictional film, but it is based on kind of inspired by real life incidents that happened and is still happening. For me, it was more of a message giving than anything else. The whole purpose of the film was that, yes, domestic violence is a problem, but when you have a problem that starts from domestic, or which means from your home, you probably have to get stronger and face it and then stop it in a way. So sort of come out with that strength to actually stand firm and strong against it. And it starts from there, because if you see lots of cases, I'll give it a quick example. Sorry if I'm taking the time. 54% of the 78,000 cases of assaults are reported to be domestic violence cases, and unfortunately, there has been occasions when the victim, let's say the women that face domestic violence, they have, or anybody, in fact the men as well sometimes, they left their homes and then they had two options. One is to become homeless because of lack of infrastructure out there in the society, or two, go back to the partner that was the main cause of domestic violence. So it is a very sticky situation for the society. And I thought sometimes the media needs to play a bit of a role to actually pronounce that in a bold and beautiful way, sort of presentable way. So that was my whole inspiration behind starting it off.
Thank you so much, Siddharth. It's very insightful because, like I said, it's very relevant to nowadays. But yep. As I promised the audience, I will not take any more time. I will introduce the rest of the panelists, starting from Nawal. We can't forget him. He is the film festival director and the founder of SKGA Incorporated Australia, and the co-host with me today. And we start with Mr. David Black. I remember him from the last festival. And he's an actor, he's a producer, he's a director and a writer in multiple films, shot in Melbourne, and run a film web portal named Australian Shortfilm Network, which has about 20,000 film followers. And we have Nazir Yusufi. He is the Men's and Family Violence Pathways Practitioner in Relationships Australia, Victoria. Welcome. And we have Monica Raizada. She has acted in a feature film called Hidden Truth. I love that film. It was some time ago. And she's a Channel 31 TV presenter and a very well-known, and when I say very well-known, she's a well-known face in Melbourne for community service via Women's of Wyndham, mental health, family and domestic violence services. Last but not least, young gentleman over here, Thomas Insoy. We call him Hello. Tom. He's a film student from Swinburne University and operate Minor Film Festival. Welcome, Thomas. Hi. So I will invite all of you to give your opinion about this film. Let's start with Monica.
Oh, thanks, Tanya. Thanks, Sid, and thanks, Navalji, for organizing this, panel and discussion, which is so close to my heart. And Sid, amazing movie. When I was watching the movie, attention to detail is amazing. The way the little girl was making the drawing and coloring, you chose goddess Durga, who is considered the feminine spiritual energy in Hinduism, which means that all girls should get that strength and power. And as you've discussed with Tanya in question and answer session, that your daughter is a karate, learner as well. Amazing. And not to forget that attention to detail, that girl, the way you have chosen the name, Ek Bindu Sindhu. That means each drop matters, each drop collectively make ocean. Each drop is important. And that's what I always tell girls when I'm talking about women empowerment. Your one kind word, one kind gesture can actually give strength to another girl. And here you have demonstrated it so well that the small girl, as you have already discussed, size doesn't matter, but it is that kind gesture, that thought of protecting mother. And here I must say that I have gone through the same thing in my previous marriage when I was very young. I got married when I was studying, and I got my daughter when I was very young. And believe me, my daughter has been my strength throughout my life. And I thought that, where I am now, when she becomes a little bit older, I will start giving help to the needy girls. And then, of course, I can understand Nazir's and David's point of view as well. When we talk about, family violence, it's not only girls are suffering, it's whole family suffers. So my approach through Ramon Helps, through this Hidden Truth movie was to give support to whoever needs. Today only I got a call from a boy who needs help, who's been separated. He can't meet his child and, suffering. So I never see gender. I just support myself with the team. And I went through one step ahead, I've done my counseling diploma as well with my specialization in couple conflict resolution and supporting those people who go through abuse in their life, whatever kind of abuse it is. So, and I'm so happy and delighted to be part of this panel where we share the same passion for one reason or the other. And thank you, Navalji, for inviting me here. It is a great, great initiative. And Tanya, you're doing a wonderful job. And I'm looking forward to hear from other panelists as well. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
How about a young man? Thomas, you like to talk about it?
Yeah, sure. I really liked how you ended the film, Sid. I really like we said earlier, I liked the optimism of how she's taking up karate and building, like you said, the silent strength. And I like the film even more for how you said how you've shot it in your own home with your own family as actors, and it's just hearing how much of a personal project it's been. Last question: was it filmed during COVID? Is that why? Did that play into part of the reasoning of why it's in your own home with your own family?
Yes, in a way, yes, but not really. COVID wasn't the reason because it was actually shot. It was released last year, but it was shot just before COVID. So I think my other reason was the actual reason, which was if you keep it to yourself, then you're not responsible for any breakage of items.
Yes.
You can, we're dealing with a lot of amateurish environment. My daughters are not professionals, neither my wife is. So at times it might go a bit over the board. So I could, if I tell somebody I'll use your house till 8 o'clock, it might go up to 9, 10. So I said, no, we'll do it at our home only.
Yeah.
So that was the reason.
And just to support my friend still at Swinburne, it's really encouraging how you've managed to keep everything so contained and still make a really great project just using your own resources. And that's just really encouraging to students like myself and the people still at Swinburne.
I was a part of there's a film school in India as well after the name of Satyajit Ray. And what I used to do is I used to work with them as well. I've learned how you can turn a mole into a mountain in terms of facilities and resources. What I think, if you have the message pretty strong in a film, and if the actors are good, regardless of what your content is, I mean, yes, the content is very important here, but if the message is strong and the acting is good, then obviously the message comes through pretty properly. And I was very clear about the message because I've seen domestic violence a lot around me and overseas and India and in Australia as well, in every community, don't get me wrong, in every community. And there are verbal abuse, there are mental abuse, there are physical abuse. And if you see in this whole film, I have touched on all of them. So I was verbal abuse when I was shouting at my wife. Then I was at the end, I was trying to be physical. The kids were crying. There was a mental abuse happening there. I was talking when she in the film, she was pregnant, so she couldn't cook on time. And I was giving her a mental abuse, with little caring about her pregnancy. I was saying, oh, it's 8 o'clock and I still haven't cooked the dinner. So that is it's a mental trauma without being supportive. I'm being critical. So yes, I've touched all of those three. So whenever you guys are making film moving forward, just that's the key word, that have the content, have the clear message across. Making a film around it becomes easier.
Combat that gear acquisition syndrome, as we talked a bit in the last episode of SCAFF, and just focus on the content.
Yes. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you, Thomas. Thank you, Sid. David, Nazir, you like to jump in and give your opinion about this?
I'll let Nazir give his opinion. My only opinion is I think it's great that films are being made to highlight the issue. So, but I'll let Nazir take this one.
All right.
Thanks, David. Thanks, Tanya and Noel. Thanks, everyone. Sid, Energy, that is a very beautiful film I watched today. And because of my background, I'm a men's family violence practitioner. So, and I'm also facilitating a men's behavior change program. My background is also, I have a graduation in men's behavior change programs. I have a graduate certificate on that. Yeah, as you touched on the different types of violence earlier, talking with Thomas. Of course, I as an assessor or a men's behavior change program facilitator, I will put a bit light on that. I like that. I don't know if you have background on about family violence, but looking on your movie, when you are coming from outside in the car, I mean that you are happy and you didn't look tired, but when you entered the home, you were so rude and disrespectful with your not only with your wife, even with the child. You didn't hug, you didn't kiss, which shows that you are a bit rude and disrespectful person. And also you instead went to a refrigerator and you picked a bottle of drink and start drinking, and you did verbal abuse, and you put her down when she said that why you are late again, and you said that that this big company, they're not for the they're not paying for the pretty faces. This kind of putting someone down, and you are not answering in a respectful way, which shows that you are abusing and you are an abusive person. And also we can see that in many other episodes and other area, you just started drinking, sitting there, and you are not caring about the kids. If she won something in karate and first position, I mean, and she, your wife and kids, they are hungry and didn't eat anything. You didn't care about them, and also you have physically abused. You used intimidation. You have thrown her on the bed while she's pregnant, for example. In you don't have any insight, you don't have any insight that your behavior, how that impacts the child, you think that, okay, I have sent the child in the other room, but no, if child is sleeping or if they are in the other room, still they can hear. They can see that what is happening, you are loud and you are drinking and you are abusive towards the mom, and she can hear, and it impacts badly to them. And these all things, I don't know if you have behavior, you have this family violence background, but you have shown that the real, that pattern of behavior and all the types of violence you have shown in that movie, which I think it is something that, especially for the migrant community, that maybe we should make more movies like this and show to the people to raise awareness about family violence. Thanks. You are.
Yeah, sorry, now I got it. Thanks for the fantastic feedback, and I think you basically actually hit the nail on the head, because when I was having a question from concept to completion. My challenge was that I have not personally lived through that. So neither my parents nor myself are as I can understand. But I have heard, I have listened to, I have watched, and that education in me tells me the difference between abuse and, what are the degrees of abuses and how one-off becomes a recurring event, and recurring means habit. And if you see in the film also, that when the daughter was painting or drawing and right at the other end of the house, which you correctly said, they can actually still hear. And when that episode happening here, I was shouting at my wife saying, "Hey, I'm funding my own booze, not funded by your dad." Okay. Yeah. So that conversation was happening way away from the younger one. Was too young. She was crying because too much of noise and too much of fighting going on, verbal fight going on between mom and dad, sort of thing. It's an angry environment that made her cry. But the older one was actually stop drawing and then give it a year. What is happening is all of a sudden gone quiet, and I was shouting at the wife. Then she comes and joins and say, "I had enough of this." Like sometimes, and there has been films also on this where it went to even different level, when the kid was a little bit older and actually did something wrong to the man in front of kill the man. So for me, that was the challenge to write and throw everything in, because I know there are verbal abuses. I know there are sometimes indifference is in form of abuse. As you correctly said, that when the character came back home, he couldn't care less about the pregnant wife, about the success of the child, about the playfulness of the younger one. It's all about him. His dinner is not ready. He's upset. It's booze time, and there's nothing to have it with the booze. Blah blah blah. So yeah, it's a one-way traffic for him, and that's what results.
One thing about the gender role, you are expecting her to prepare food. That is you believe on you have a strong gender role belief that, okay, if I'm going outside and working, and everything should be prepared,
Yes.
The clean house, and also when I come home, then what is this? You still, what's up? Still you have not prepared food. That is one of the things that you have that belief that it's not my job. When I come home, then everything should be ready. So that is a strong gender role belief that you have.
So as long as you found the movie very realistic and not underdone or overdone, I'm happy with that. That's my goal.
That was the thing that I have found in the movie, and when we are assessing, I'm doing assessment and intake, every 3 days or 4 days, it comes, all those issues coming, with the men when they come to our program. So yeah, we face these things every day.
I must say here, yeah, sorry, the message is very clear. Yeah, sorry about that, Tanya.
No,
I must say
okay.
the message is very clear. What you wanted to convey and the way the flow is going, it is amazing. So, and I'm sure I have learned something from you when you were saying that, you haven't really used lots of resources and infrastructure in producing this movie. Because I meet so many people as well, and we are working towards prevention as well. So movie making, I think, can work towards prevention also, where we can actually educate community at large, what are the issues and how we can solve. And, as we know, Nazir is providing so many services to men for managing their anger and changing their behavior, etc. We can show all this through movies, because that is something everyone finds interesting, and you can you don't need to run the courses to educate them through movies. So yeah, good on you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. My pleasure.
Thank you, Monica. We are nearing the end of our episode, but we will end this with talking about the significance of making a film on this subject. I will just make my input and you all can come in. I think significance, I'm not a film producer, but I think any kind of trauma can escalate into domestic violence, war-related trauma, and then even medical trauma. Somebody has gone through a super crazy surgery, and then it's giving so much of pain, it's unbearable to the point that you get a little violent. And then even natural disasters, people who go through bushfires, there are many pre-attributes. Even a little ignition of a matchstick can cause a lot of trauma to the point that it can even flare up an argument. And anything can escalate into a domestic violence situation. So I would like all of you to contribute on the significance of it, and we'll wrap up our episode. You can start with Sid.
I think you are right. The fact that it is, and to pretty much put your context, your words to the context of David's as well, is it is not one single reason. There is no five trigger points of domestic violence or domestic abuse. It is, we have to, I think communication is the only way to solve it. I mean, as a starter, the reason is that when you talk to the other person, the so-called abuser, and that was my film there, that sometimes an abuser is sitting just next to you, and you cannot on earth believe this person could be an abuser. He could be the best man of the best behavior with lots of thoughts. And that's why when he's driving back home in that film, the first shot was he's driving back home, nice and polite, obeying the rules, blinkers are on, and he's singing in a lovely song that is playing in the radio. So he's a very normal, natural, successful person outside of the door. And as Nazir put it, that as soon as he enters the door, there's a mental shift. And what is triggering that mental shift? Why is he like that? Some third party has to talk, whether it's his friend or a person like Monica or whoever. And then sometimes it might come out with a solution saying, I am doing this because you don't know what I've gone through. And then that gone through part gets revealed. And that's when, without diagnosis, you can't prescribe. We're so eager to prescribe, and as David said again, the evil and the angel sort of thingy. We're so ready to prescribe. We're ready to identify instead of going through the details. It's like Google searching after coughing. And then you might say, the Google might say, oh, in that case, if these are the 5 things, then you are a TB patient. When it's not, it's just a flu from next door or next wherever. So I think that starting point from the film point of view, just my whole aim was to show that it is an event that's happening in normal, natural. You don't have to be out of the world to be a part of this. And secondly is that charity begins at home for everything. It could be consequential. This guy could have been brought up in a wrong way. So many factors involved. It's just that as long as we're talking about it, as long as there's information out there for the person to access, both parties, victim and abuser, then at least a lot of people actually quietly go and do that. And their mind shifts also always shifting, from one pendulum end of the other. So yeah, so I think that was my whole aim, and I think that's my input in this case.
Thank you, Sid. Thomas, David, Nazir, Monica, even Naval. Any final points in the significance of this film?
Thanks, Tanya. Sid, very well said. But and Tanya, the way you said, there can be a trauma. But what I have noticed very sadly, more than 300 cases, that why do abuser chooses just a person who is weaker than him, right?
Of course.
So, they don't, when they are at work, if someone, lights it, they won't be angry. So they just, if they are in a position of power, then only they play it. So yep. That's my main point, So for that, it's really good we can make movies. And now we are, my journey started from helping the family violence victims. then working on prevention programs and projects, and now it is taking a next level, which is, multicultural women of the world, which is totally activism, where we want to influence the legal system, because we see that legally women suffer a lot, So yes, we can make movies on this. As we discussed before, movies are very powerful medium, and it will be, at the end of the day, we want a happy community, where everyone feels safe and happy, So I think this will be a very good way making more movies, and maybe I've got so many stories. If we can join hands together,
Absolutely.
We can really do wonders. Thank you so much.
I think all your background and your material, aspiring film producer, a young student we have with us today, he can use all of this to start his career. I think it's a lot. When it's relevant, it's always better to send the message across. That's the only way, because people love watching films. So what? It's on screen. Watch it, learn it. Whoever who picks it up will do something good about it. So I think this was a very insightful discussion. It's an amazing episode, one of the best episodes that I have conducted. I love it. It's one of the comprehensive episodes that I've done. Thanks, Namal, for even having this topic for us. And I'm very grateful and thankful for your participation, because it is a very crucial topic in our society. So thank you so much. Until we meet again, thank you, David, Nasir, Monica, Thomas, Sid, and our audience. That's all we got for our third episode. Thanks for tuning in. I'm your host, Tanya J. Thanks for watching.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.